going on, everybody? So here's what's going on with the 86 rm125. I think in my last video I was telling y'all I had to do the water pump seals in for the water pump. I had coolant leaking from the weep hole, which usually indicates that that inner seal is bad. If you get oil coming from that hole, it's normally that seal. So there's two seals that keep your fluids separate so they don't mix. So here's what I discovered on this. Usually when I replace the water pump seals, we replace the impeller and the impeller shaft. Well, from what I heard, these year models, I think there's 3 years that Suzuki did this, which really sucks. This is the impeller shaft. It has reverse threads for the impeller, and the impeller threads onto it. Well, you cannot replace this impeller shaft because it is a part of the crankshaft. Yep, it's a part of the crankshaft. So if you run into the problem that I have, that doesn't look all too good, does it? And it's got pits in it, and it's got grooves in it, and a real big one here. There it is. So, and which really sucks because this is a nice tight engine. The bottom end sounds great. The top end, I believe, was redone. It's a very good sound engine. But that right there can determine a big problem. They don't make cranks for these anymore. So when you look on eBay for a new crank, it's most likely going to look just like mine. So there's a couple of different things to do. I've been told... So the good news is that this doesn't ride on any machine surface. There's no bearing that goes over it. This surface is what seals for the seals there. So basically I got to get it smooth. Well, if you sand on it too much, you'll deform it and take the size out. Then you run into, even if I was to put new seals in it, it would leak. So I'm at a crossroads. The good thing is there's a couple different ideas. Some people say that you can get a bushing to slide over this to give it a nice smooth machine finish. But you would have to tear it down and take the crank and probably have this machine down undersized and have the shim or the bushing installed to give it this diameter so that it works with the seals. Another idea I have, my father does industrial plating, and he can do either a nickel sulfamate or a hard chrome buildup on this. If I do that, got to take the motor apart, take the crank out, and then have my father plate this and build it up. Well, then after that, it's got to go to a machine shop to be machine finished to be this diameter to work with these seals. I've kind of sanded on it. I've used some emery cloth here. These grooves are really deep and it's got some pits. I've also been told you can use JB Weld. That's pretty good stuff. I've used JB Weld before on my Quadzilla housing because this was all ate up. Somebody took a screwdriver and destroyed the whole inside. trying to get that seal out. I used JB Weld and kind of lathered it up in there, and then I sanded it smooth, and the seal went right in and gave it a nice seal. So I just don't know. I mean, all we're really doing is giving this a nice smooth finish so that it can seal. That's all we're doing. The threads are in here are good. That's where the impeller goes on. Everything is good. I'm just looking at options to fix the surface of this shaft here so that I don't have to tear all this apart and buy all new gaskets, and might as well give it a full rebuild, all because of the water pump shaft. All because Suzuki decided to use the crank to drive the water pump. So that's where I'm at. I've been kind of sanding on it a little bit, trying to get it smooth, trying to get these pits out. Some areas when I rotate her over is not as bad, like this side. Not as bad, looks nice, kind of. Another option here, I'm looking at the seal placement, and there's a lot of room in there. So I'm wondering if I can drive that seal in enough to be on this nice surface here. So now the oil seal, even though it looks horrible behind it, the oil seal doesn't leak. I'm still going to replace the oil seal, but the oil seal is driven all the way down against the housing, and it doesn't leak. So my problem is that seal there. So I'm wondering if maybe I just, since I smoothed it out a little, if I can maybe just drive that seal enough to use this surface right here. So I'm playing with all different types of scenarios to save time, save money, and get this thing scooting and riding. You know, it really sucks because, I mean, this bike's ready to go. It's got the frame powder coated. I want to get some decals here, and it's got new tires on it, chain sprocket. You know, it's like in the home stretch, you know. Get new graphics for it, and you know, it's worth saving. But you know, this is part of what it's all about when it comes to, you know, running a 38-year-old bike in the dirt. You know, this is an old bike. It's almost 40 years old. And you know, they were never intended to go 40 years. They're like all bikes, you know. When you race a bike, it's, you know, within 2-3 years, it's clapped out, you know. These bikes get the shit beat out of them. So that's where I'm at. Wasn't expecting it. It was very disappointing, but like I said, there's ways to fix it. It can be fixed. My dad can plate this, make it smooth. It's just I don't want to do that because I don't want to take the crank out. I don't want to get all new gaskets and seals, and might as well do a top end. You know, this bike is in good shape. But damn, if a water pump's gonna stop everything, you know. So that's what I got going on. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. Sucks. Anyways, alright guys, I'll let y'all go. I appreciate it, guys. As soon as I come up with a solution that works, I'll let y'all know. See y'all later.